Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin. Now, this video I've been asked a bunch of times. Seems like every time I post a video, somebody says, well, how do you get cars so cheap? Where are you getting these cars from? How do you know when a car is good and when a car is bad? So I decided to make this video. It's going to be kind of choppy and shaky just because I'm doing it with my cell phone, but I wish I had somebody here to help me film or whatever. But just before I start getting into what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, buying a car to fix and sell is completely different than buying a car that you're going to keep and drive daily. Now, this video is going to be what to look for when you're wanting to buy a car and drive it as a daily driver. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to do this with my Dodge Ram that I just got. The first thing you want to do in hunting for a car, honestly, 90% of it is just looking online. People ask, well, where do you find these deals at? I mean, mostly Craigslist. There are a lot of groups on Facebook or OfferUp, which is a free app that you can go on and try to find some good deals. But in volume, your best chances are just getting on Craigslist and search for the car that you want. Once you pick out the car that you want, you're gonna search. Don't get frustrated because you're always going to find the car. You're always going to find it cheap. Just give it enough time. Just give it a week, 2 weeks, whatever it takes. But after you find the car and you want to go look at it, first thing you want to do is look up the book value. Now, we're doing the Dodge Ram on this. Now, the book value with the miles and everything on this truck is 3,600. Okay, so few things you want to look for. I mean, of course, it's going to be the obvious stuff. Well, how are the tires? And I've seen a lot of people make this mistake. They'll do this and they'll be, oh, the tires are good. But you want to get in to the back here. Make sure there's no wear on the back of the tire, because if you got a alignment issue or a suspension issue, that's where it's going to be wearing. Just looking at, I mean, this truck's so tall you can see it, but other cars are going to be, right here. So checking right here, that's a waste of time. Another thing, if you're going early in the morning and you're going to look at it early in the morning, you know the person wasn't driving it, they're home, they just got up, whatever. First thing you want to do is make sure that the car, the engine is not warm, because a lot of people do a lot of shady shit when it comes to selling cars. So let's say that you have a hard start when it's cold. They'll just come out right before you get there. They'll crank it until it starts running. Once it gets warm, you won't see that issue again until the car's cold again. So there's a lot of trickery going on when it comes to buying and selling cars, because a lot of people on Craigslist just flip cars. Another thing is you want to come over here and open up your crankcase. You want to look right here. Now, that oil is a little bit brown, which for me, I would rather have brown oil than like super clean oil where it looks like somebody just changed it, because that could be a sign of, it might have a leaky head gasket or something like that, and they just went out and changed it and they didn't drive it after that because they know what will happen. Another thing is you want to look on the back of the cap here and make sure it's just oil. If you see white residue, like a milky white thing there, that's a sure sign that it's got a head gasket issue, something like that. So you want to check all the fluids. Of course, check the oil. If the motor is cold, you want to check the coolant, all that good stuff. You want to check around it, make sure it doesn't have any major oil leaks, that nothing's like leaking on anything. And with this big truck here, you can actually just get under it, and you can just scan it and see, usually if you get a major oil leak, it's going to be blowing back onto the muffler, stuff like that. You want to look at the engine, make sure there's no oil leaks or anything like that. Now this one looks actually really clean. You can tell they have a new muffler on here. Let me show you another trick. Now, if you live in a city that has emissions like we do here in Atlanta or Douglasville or whatever, a trick that a lot of people do, and this is really shady. If you need emissions, don't buy a car unless it has emissions. If you're looking to get a tag and all that, don't buy a car unless it has emissions. Now, to check here, put the key in, turn it over to the on position. What you're going to see here is the check engine light. You see that? Then it's going to go off. All right, so do it again. Start the car. Check engine light goes off. Now, there's an easy way around this for people that are trying to get over on other people. All you have to do to take the check engine light off is unplug the battery for a couple seconds, plug it back in, you don't have a check engine light. So that's a big thing. And I mean, it might be a good thing to go out and go to AutoZone, get a scanner, buy a little cheap scanner that's about 50 bucks. That way you can plug it into the car and make sure that it doesn't have codes, and make sure that they didn't unplug it. If they unplugged it, you'll come up with a whole list of incomplete codes that tells you they're trying to hide something. Another thing is you want to look for that light. If that check engine light does not come on when you turn the switch on, the bulb is blowed, somebody took the bulb out, and you definitely want to try to stay away from that car, unless it's just a fucking super deal. So, you know, of course you're going to make sure that when you start the car, it starts right up, there's no hesitation. Just like that. You want to make sure idle's fine. You know, there are a few things that you want to look at, especially when it comes to a daily driver. You want to make sure that your AC works. You know, if you're in somewhere like Georgia, you know, in the summer times it's super fucking hot. Other things that people don't realize to check is check your blinkers, stuff like that. You want to check your cigarette lighters too, okay? Because it's a big pain in the ass if you go to charge your phone and this doesn't fucking work. It's just, you know, it's stupid. You want to try to get something that has a good radio in it that you can listen to with good speakers, auxiliary cable, all that good stuff. You know, you want to check your windows, you know, stuff like that. It really just depends on how cheap you're going to get the car. But you do have to remember everything on this car. Every flaw, every dent, everything is going to be a bargaining point. You know, this truck is not perfect because, you know, you see here, and the reason I got this truck is to haul cars with, so I didn't care what it looked like. But if you're just looking for something to drive, make sure that you have a little mechanical knowledge going into it, so you know what you're looking for. Of course, it's been wrecked right here too, so that was a big bargaining point for me. Look at the battery. Does the battery look new? You know, stuff like that. Just common sense stuff. Of course, you want to drive the car, make sure it shifts properly. Cosmetic things, unless you're paying over 2,500 bucks for a car, cosmetic, you know, as long as it's not like completely wrecked, really shouldn't matter that much. So this one actually checked out. There's nothing going on with the motor. No check engine light. There's no major leaks. It has some body damage. Tires are good. Runs and draws fine. Doesn't have a misfire. It's got a good radio. Like I said, book value on this is probably, what was it, 34 or 36. Now, if you know how to negotiate, you could actually get this truck for, I don't know, I would say roughly $2 grand would be fair. I actually only paid $1,400 for it. The guy was asking 25. I got it for 14. So, and I put some miles on it, hadn't had any issues. But like I said, it's just common sense stuff. You got to look and look and look, and like I said, most of the time it's just looking on Craigslist for the right car that's in your price range. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I've got another video that I made on buying cars at Buy Here Pay Here's, and I'm going to be uploading that today. That's if you've ever bought a car to Buy Here Pay Here. If you're planning on buying one, or if you have one, you definitely want to watch this video or spread it around, because Buy Here Pay Here's are horrible places to get cars, and there's a lot of alternatives to doing that. I mostly mess with Civics when it comes to me buying cars and then, you know, fixing them up. I've never sold a bad car. I'm not the type of person, you know, if it's got something wrong with it, I'll tell you it's got something wrong with it. But you can't trust people just on face value. You want to have a little bit of knowledge and not get took, because if you're looking for a car for $1,500 and somebody is hiding stuff from you and you buy it and the damn thing blows up down the street, you know, you don't, in Georgia, you don't have a warranty on it. I mean, just, you know, knowledge is your biggest friend when it comes to buying a car. And don't expect too much from $1,000 or whatever it is. All right, guys, talk to you later.